Never thirsty. Never thirsty.
And ODB, it's sad that he didn't get to necessarily get to do that part, but he obviously he lives on, and that's where you come in. There is an estate when somebody passes away, and when a big celebrity hip hop legend passes away, there's business that has to be taken care of there. How did you get into that?
Yeah, so I mean, you nailed it. Like, his solo albums were revolutionary in their own right, and they changed the game. I think, his album was also one of the albums that, was just instrumental for me, just that whole Brooklyn Zoo coming at you, one man army.
Oh, it will also, you say that too, but if I think about how it came, like the ODB solo album was the first MTV thing, because he went when he had his ID. I forget, it was some kind of thing he did. And it was on TV, and they made a whole.
He went and got his check. He had his album. I got the album right here. He went with his card, and not this card, but he went with his card, and he got the check. But it was real. Yeah. And one of the things about ODB, people love, is that he was real with it. He was one of the first people to come out and just be like, I'm from the hood. Yes, we've been on welfare. Yes, we've been through that system, but we still do positive things, and we're making it big. For me, that was instrumental, because a kid from New York and going through hard times, a single mom, it was one of those things where I related. Like, people don't even know, I'll just show you this on my desk here. That's a $1 food stamp right there. So that's real, and it's like, we had public assistance growing up too. So
I used to hide those things.
Yeah, I know. Tell the story.
I used to have to pay when I had to go to the store. If I had to see anybody in the store, I'm waiting for them to leave. Even though most of them was spending the same type of money I was spending. Yeah. I would wait for my friends to leave, then whip it out on the low, be like, yo.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like ODB came out and told you, don't be embarrassed. Yo, I'm putting this on the album cover. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, who was doing that?
I think it's brilliant, and I think that definitely that record also helps bring that other album we talked about that had the machine behind it. That ODB album was the nice bridge between the 36 Chambers and that record. I think ODB doesn't get the credit he probably deserves there, but he's that was such a huge thing that he did that. It was like covered. It was like it was like everywhere. It was a huge viral story before there was an internet.
It was viral before there was viral, right? Before we had the cell phones and we were snapping photos all the time. It was like and what people don't understand is like that album cover was his genius. When I talk to Dante Ross, he'll tell you over and over again in multiple interviews, that album cover was all ODB. Right. That was all him thinking. But it was just him saying, this is who I am. I'm proud of who I am, and I'm going to rep it. And that gave us all pride to kind of get out there and rep it. And it took things to another level. So, and then people don't know how much of a crossover artist he was, like hits with Mariah Carey, in Ghetto Superstar. Like, sure. That was before people were really figuring out that mix of the two. That was experimental.
Ghetto Superstar for sure was like a huge that song was massive.
Oh,
and it was like to have a soundtrack song like that. You don't really get that these days, but like I think that I loved that era where there was like the song from the soundtrack and the soundtrack. It's not like that now, but that's you could get a huge hit song from being on a soundtrack, and that song did way bigger than the movie did.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good movie. It was a pretty good movie, but the song is still talked about and still played. As a matter of fact, at the wedding I was at, where no one talked to me, they played that song at least twice.
That's a hit, man. It's a crossover hit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another thing. It was just in Space Jam, New Legacy. They played a little bit of it in the beginning. Ghetto Superstar. So that song lives.
Never thirsty.